book.
Okay.
If I give you some books about medical science, right? I give to you 10 books and I am saying you need to be a doctor. Can you be a doctor by reading by yourself, or you need to go to the university having lesson?
Yes, I have to go to the university.
Yeah, you need to go to the teacher.
Yes.
So God sent the book
Yeah.
to us as guidance, right?
Okay.
And he sent the teacher as well.
Okay. Maybe not only book, maybe all of the information. Yes.
Yeah, books with information, what
Yeah.
we need.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
As human, to worship to the God, to making our life easy, to how to lead our life, God sent the guidance
Okay.
to the in the book, and God sent the teacher as well. The Anbiya alayhi salam, the prophets were the teacher.
Okay.
You understand? So they came with the message. What is the message? Message is La ilaha illallah. They said there is no one except Allah. There is no God except Allah. Only one true God.
Oh, yeah.
Not 2, 3, 4, 5. Because
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. There's 2 or 3 have God.
Okay.
Because if I say I'm independent, that means I'm not depending anyone.
Okay.
If you have 2 or 3 gods, that means are they 33% God, 33% independent, 33, 33, and 33.33, so 100%. So if anyone say there is a man who came and he is God, and someone is saying there is another God, it doesn't make sense, because it's not possible to have 2 independent will.
Okay.
Because if we say first one is independent, then second one is not, because he is relying on him. So it's never possible to have 2 or 3 God. What will happen if there is 2 God? For example, one God will say, okay, in Hyde Park I want to give the sunlight. Another one will say, no, I want to give the rain. You understand? So there will be the chaos.
Okay.
So this one God send the messenger,
Okay.
and this messenger give the same message
Okay.
to worship one God.
Okay.
And through the messenger there is a chain of messenger. First was Adam, then Noah, Ibrahim, Ismail, Jacob, David, Jesus, and the last messenger was Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. You understand? He came with a book named Quran,
Okay.
and Quran is the last and the final message from the God. There will be no other messenger will come. There will no other book which will come from God. This is the last and the final message.
Okay.
How it looks, make sense?
Yeah, I know your meaning. Yeah.
So, do you believe in one God?
Uh, I believe some. Maybe I believe in your information. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little like philosophy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Philosophy upper is God. Yes.
No, as we discussed about one God, one
Yes.
true God.
Yes.
Do you believe your creator? You have a creator, right? So do you believe in this God who created you?
Maybe created everything. Yes.
He created everything. Yeah. This God created everything.
We don't need to define it's 1 or 2. Maybe not a number. Yes. Maybe your meaning is the same. Not a number. Not 1 or 2. Maybe only 1. Yeah.
Only one creator.
Yeah. Maybe. Yes.
There is only one creator.
Okay.
If there is 2, is it possible to have
Maybe don't
Yeah.
use a number to to define.
Ahad? Allah said no.
Yeah.
When we can use something
Yeah.
to the creator, if
Yeah.
creator define himself like this,
yeah.
then we can, right?
Okay.
Is it possible to someone have 2 mother?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is it possible to someone have 2 mother?
Maybe just mother-in-law.
No. Yeah. Stepmom is different.
Yeah.
Stepmom is different. So is it possible biologically? Is it possible
Yeah.
to someone has 2 mother?
Yeah. No,
Is it possible?
not impossible.
It's not possible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of what?
Yeah.
Because the origin has to be one.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
I know, yeah.
So how it is possible that there is a true creator of this whole universe? There will be the chaos.
Yeah.
If I say there is 2 prime minister, there will be the chaos in this
Okay.
in this country.
Yeah.
In your China as well. If I say 2 prime ministers, there will be the chaos.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So if there is 2, Allah said it. If there is 2 creator, there will be the chaos.
Oh yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So there has to be one creator.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. Yeah,
Make sense?
Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
And this creator is not the creation. What we see is often in the Eastern religion, Eastern philosophies,
Yeah.
they have the idea that everything is God or part of God.
Yeah.
The idea of pantheism
Yeah, everything is.
or panentheism, the idea is like, there's variations of this. Like everything is God. You're part of God.
I agree.
But if you think about it,
Yeah.
all we see here, everything that you observe, they share certain essential characteristics or properties.
Yeah.
They share something that is dependent, finite, and limited.
Yeah.
Think about the tree, or think about yourself.
Yeah.
You are dependent.
Yeah.
You're dependent on air, oxygen,
Yeah.
water, food
Yeah.
for you to live.
Yeah.
So is the tree.
Yeah.
They're dependent. So all of the things that we see in our universe, it's not just this, everything is dependent.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense to say this is part of God, because what we mean by God is something that is everything depends on.
Oh, okay.
Everything
Yeah.
must depend on something ultimately,
Oh, yeah.
which is independent.
Oh, yes, yes.
Because if we have a set, because I know you're a very intelligent person, if you're a set of dependent things,
Yeah.
it doesn't eventually make it independent, the whole set,
Okay.
because they will still be dependent.
Yes.
So we cannot explain the existence
Yeah.
of dependent things within our cosmos, within our universe,
Yeah.
unless they depend on something that is independent.
Oh, yeah.
So these things we say they're contingent on something that is not contingent, not contingent.
Yeah.
So that is the thing what we're saying is a necessary being.
Yeah.
It's a necessary existence which everything else depends on.
Yeah.
So that thing, that necessary being, shares certain qualities or characteristics or properties. One of them is independence, self-sufficiency, where this necessary being is not dependent on anything else,
Okay.
but everything else has to be.
Okay.
Because you have to have in science, we look for explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Explanation.
Yeah.
All our universe and everything that is within it, this can be explained by a necessary being.
Oh, yeah.
That is the explanation of all things.
Yeah.
That necessary being has to be independent.
Yeah.
Otherwise, as he explained, we'll also have the same problem of dependency, and you will say, what does that necessary being depend on?
Oh, yeah.
Something else? And what does that something else depend on?
Yeah.
And you'll go on ad infinitum.
Okay.
This will be a problem of infinite regress,
Okay.
where you're trying to establish these causes for our universe, and they infinitely go beyond.
Okay.
And we know that if there was infinite causes, explanation, another explanation, another explanation, if it went like this infinitely with no end, our universe will not come to an existence. And he gave an example about a library and borrowing books.
Yeah.
So what it is, forget about library. This is a bottle, right?
Yeah.
I want to give this bottle to you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This is an action to take
Yeah.
place.
Yeah. Yeah.
But suppose between you and me there are infinite number of people that this bottle has to go through first. So he has to go through him first, and then to her, an infinite number of people before it comes to you.
Okay.
Would this bottle ever come to you
Okay.
if there are infinite number of people? Never.
Yeah.
Because there's someone always there in front of you. And it will go on and on infinity, and it will never come to you.
Yeah.
But if the bottle came to you,
Okay.
what that demonstrates is the people that it went around was not infinite.
There is
Finite.
just-
Okay.
Yeah, because it reached your hand.
Yeah.
If it was infinite, it will never reach your hand.
Oh, okay.
But because it reached your hand, that means the chain is finite.
Okay.
If our universe had causes, who had cause, who had a cause, who had a cause, infinite number, our universe will never be here.
Okay.
Never come into existence.
Okay.
The fact that we are here, this cause of our universe is not infinite.
Okay.
At the end, there is one cause which doesn't have any cause.
I agree with you. There's
Yeah.
one cause you have any cause. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncaused.
Yeah.
That uncaused
Yeah.
is the necessary being.
Yes.
And that
Maybe
necessary being,
everything is cause actually. Yes.
at the end,
Yes.
that cause is the cause for everything.
Oh,
right?
yes.
That cause, what we call is a necessary being, what we call the originator,
Okay.
the creator for everything.
Yeah.
And this creator, originator, must have power or energy,
Yeah.
must have self-awareness or self-existence.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it will not be here. Nothing will happen.
Yeah.
Without power, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
But there's something else. You must have will or a choice.
Yeah.
Choice, a will to make this universe.
Yeah.
You see, to make this bottle, you can't just have plastics in a factory
Yeah.
and you expect the bottle to form like this. Because design has gone through this making with a bottle with a lid and all these ridges, right? It requires intelligence and will, choice.
Yeah.
Somebody programmed the machines to make it in the factory to make it. They had a choice.
Yes.
The necessary being also has a choice.
Yeah.
So this necessary being is not like nature, which has no choice.
Oh yeah.
Nature has no self-awareness.
Yeah.
Nature has no consciousness. So that originator is self-aware, has power and energy,
Yeah.
and has a will.
Oh yeah.
And this universe demonstrates that this necessary being, the originator, must also possess what we call intelligence or wisdom or knowledge.
Okay.
Because to make this world with all this precision, with all this complex harmony, this assembly that we see, the laws of gravity, the constants that we see, physical constants in our universe,
Yeah.
must come from someone who has knowledge.
Oh yeah.
So even if we were to reason like this, then you know there is a creator, has to be one.
Okay.
This uncaused cause has to be one, only one.
Yeah.
And has to be perfect in the attributes, not deficient. Because if this has knowledge or power, it's not going to be limited.
Okay.
Because that necessary being must exist by itself.
Okay.
To explain this universe,
Yeah.
there has to be an existence of this necessary being always.
Okay.
Always.
Oh.
Because if you think there was at one point there was nothing, then there will be nothing here.
Okay.
The fact that we are here something, there has to be always something, and that something is our necessary being, the originator, the creator.
Okay.
So he always exists. If he always exists, then you exist with your qualities, because no one gave you the quality. No one gave the quality to the necessary being,
Yeah.
because he exists without a beginning. Always.
Okay.
Existing means exists without a beginning.
Okay.
So if he exists without a beginning and has will and power and energy and knowledge, and there will be no limit.
Okay.
There will be no restriction. There will be no deficiency. So that's why we say this being will be absolute. In contrast to something which is dependent, finite and limited. It will be the opposite. Absolute.
Okay.
Absolutely all powerful. Absolutely all knowledgeable. Absolutely all of the attributes will be perfect in their attributes.
Okay.
This is what we say the attributes of God is. This is what, when we say God, we are describing a being like that who deserves our gratitude, our thanks.
Okay.
To give you an example, if we went down the road
Yeah.
and we have an accident, I'm run under by a bus, whatever, you take me to the hospital,
Yeah.
and I wake up a few days later and I realize you have saved me by giving your blood and your kidney.
Okay.
Should I not be grateful to you? Should I not say at least thank you?
Yeah.
It's not that you wanted it, you did it because you are kind.
Oh yeah.
You're someone who is compassionate, merciful.
Yes.
So my natural response should be one of gratitude. That's what we call being grateful.
Yeah.
If someone does something you a favor, does all these things, you saved my life, I should say thank you.
Yeah.
Our originator deserves our thanks,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
deserves our gratitude.
Yeah.
Because not only our originator created us,
Yeah.
brought us in this life,
Okay.
but also gave us means to sustain our life. The food, the water, the air, the oxygen.
Yeah.
God gave us all of that.
Okay.
That's why we say he is called God, meaning one who deserves our worship. Worship is a term that encompasses in essence being grateful.
Okay.
So when this creator originator says, I created you for this reason, we would say, okay, I will follow that reason.
Okay.
Because he's the one who gave me life. He's the one who brought me into this existence.
Yeah.
So why should I not follow him? and be obedient to Him. That is what it means to be an obedient worshipper of our God. Some people automatically have this feeling about, oh, why do you call Him God? God is just to describe that He is a being worthy of our worship, and worship encompasses thanks, glory, gratitude, and so on.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So it is not unreasonable to be thankful to our Creator, to be grateful to our Creator.
Yeah.
I should be being so grateful to save when you saved my life by giving me blood and a kidney and so on. This is what I should do. We should do likewise for our Creator, who has given us all of this. He's given us 2 kidneys and lungs and heart and all that thing. We should be thankful.
Okay.
It's not something that He was obliged to do. He gave all of that because He's merciful,
Oh yeah.
because He's kind.
Yeah.
So that's why we should be grateful and show our gratitude.
Yeah.
So when God sends a prophet and a messenger to tell us about Him, we examine this message, we look at this message, and then we say, yeah, it tells us to be good. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
We should be good.
Yeah.
It tells us to be kind to others.
Oh yeah.
Makes
good.
sense?
Yeah.
We should be kind to the others.
Yeah.
It tells us to be just. So now we realize our Creator, when He tells us to do something,
Yeah.
it is for our own good.
Yeah.
When our Creator tells us to don't kill, don't oppress, don't murder, don't rape, don't steal, don't cheat,
Yeah. Don't rude.
we know all of these are good qualities that we should be doing in the first place.
Yes.
So these regulations that comes from our Creator,
Yeah.
it's for our own good,
Yeah.
for our own good, so that we can live a life which is beneficial, which is purposeful, which gives us comfort, joy, and contentment.
Yeah.
And not only that, it tells us what awaits for us when we die. Because some people think they live this life and that's it. You die and you go to a grave or whatever happens to you and the worm comes and eats you and that's the end of it. But is this why we have been created so much in our way different from all the other creation? Do you see any other creation, any other animals, plants, fungi? Do you see them going to space with their technology? They don't have that technology. We seem to be the one who are mastering technology where we're even trying to go and land on the planet Mars, for example. So human beings have this extra quality of where not only we have the will and the capacity to understand and differentiate between things, good and bad, right and wrong, but we can also understand our purpose in life. When we realize we are created in such a way, then this is not going to be something like you might say, oh, we are created with no purpose. Look, your whole body, think about this, your whole body, starting from your hands. The hands are designed in such a way for our purpose, so you can grab things.
Yeah.
It has a purpose.
Yes.
Your eyes have
And
been
purpose,
purpose to see.
Yes, you see your nose.
Nose, every single part of your body has a specific purpose.
Yes.
Put yourself together.
Yeah.
What is your purpose? Ask an atheist. They haven't got a clue.
Yeah.
But you should understand and you should accept that it's reasonable to say if every single part of my body has a purpose and a function and not decided by me. Did I decide my eyes to see? Did you decide your eyes is only to see? Did you decide it?
No.
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 It was decided already in your genetic code
Yeah.
by the one who has created you
Yeah.
and assembled you all this information. So you did not choose the purpose and the function of your eyes or your ears or your heart or your lungs. You didn't do that. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So that means if I put myself together, my purpose together as a whole body is not something that I can decide what my function is.
Yeah.
It has to be the one who created me and put me together, the one who gave me all of that.
Yeah.
And that's why we say it's the necessary being, the originator, the creator, God that we're talking about. He has the right to tell us what our purpose is. In
yeah.
fact, he's in a better position, the best position to tell us what our purpose is, and not any other human being.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's why we're saying the purpose of our creation, our Creator told us, is to worship Him.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Maybe the purpose to surrounding everything is creator. Yes.
To listen to Him, to follow our Creator.
Yeah.
That's what it means to worship our Creator,
Yeah.
to acknowledge Him, and to be subservient to His laws and regulations.
Yeah.
Because whatever God gives us is for our own benefit.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The examples I've given you, when God says be just, it doesn't in any way make Him a bigger God or a greater God just because He says be just.
Yeah.
It is for our own good,
Yeah.
so that we can live in harmony in the societies. We can live in peace. We can live in tolerance.
Yeah.
So when God says, don't be greedy, He says don't gamble. Do you know why? Do you know why God says don't gamble?
Yeah.
Because what does gambling do? It makes you lazy. It wants you to be waiting there. Sometime money will come to you by chance.
Yeah. Sorry. I want to ask why is gamble in the world? Yeah.
Why is gamble prohibited or not allowed in the legislations of God? Is
Yeah.
this gambling is an actions where you are taking like as a chance to earn a lot of money at one go,
Yeah.
without doing any work.
Yeah.
So it will make you lazy. In fact, you will be miserable at one point because you don't have any guarantee that you can win in gambling every single time.
Yeah.
In fact, you might lose all your money and
Yeah.
you'll be on the streets.
Yes.
And that's what we see people.
Yeah.
And it becomes so addictive that you can't do anything like that. That's why look at the people who gamble. So gambling is not something that a decent, responsible human being should do. Why? Because it doesn't make them a responsible human being. So when I go and work, I know I'm working hard, and at the end of the day, I know that I'm going to get some wages or salaries.
Yeah.
Gambling is not like that. It's like
Yeah.
easy money, easy come, and easy go.
Yeah.
One day you have all this money, and one day you have nothing, and you might even commit suicide because of that, right?
Yeah.
That's what people do.
Yeah.
So when Islam says do not drink alcohol,
Yeah.
stay away from it, there is a reason. Because we know, even though there might be some benefits of drinking alcohol, like social benefits, people gather together and they have some fun,
Yeah.
but the harm outweighs the benefits.
Okay.
The people who end up in our accident and emergency department in the hospital,
Yeah.
the majority of the cases are due to alcohol consumption.
Oh yeah.
In UK,
Yeah.
in London,
Maybe in the whole world. Yeah.
maybe the whole world.
Yeah.
We know because people are drunk, they go and start a fight at home and they beat their spouses.
Yeah.
Domestic violence,
Yeah.
one of the main cause is alcoholism, alcohol consumption and so on. So even though there may be some benefits and so on, because of the greater harm in society, God says stay away from it.
Okay.
But you can have any other fruit juices. You can have apple juice, orange juice, mandarin juice, whatever you like.
Yeah.
Something that doesn't befog you. So what alcohol, the reason why it's prohibited, alcohol is a substance which befogs your mind. It
Okay.
impairs your mental judgment, your decision making. That is why we are not allowed to drive while you're drunk.
Yeah.
Do you know what happens when you drink and drive? Because your judgment, that the speed and the distance and the next car and so on will be impaired, and you might create accidents, killing yourself and killing others.
Yeah.
That's what alcohol does to the brain.
Yes. Yes.
That is why God tells us not to drink or eat certain food or substances like that for our own benefit.
Okay.
So now you realize when we have a guidance from God, this guidance is for our own benefit. That is why we should look for that guidance,
Yeah.
verify it, and follow it is best for us.
Okay.
When the earlier Muslims, we're talking about 1,400 years ago, when they read the Quran, it revolutionized their life and the society. They became the pioneers of science, technology, and progress. If it wasn't for Islam and the Quran, Europe would still be in the Dark Ages. People in Europe will still be having a bath maybe once a month. In fact, when the Queen of England had a bath once a month, we had underground sewage system in Islamic Spain. in Cordoba, and so on and so forth. Because Islam was implemented and they had science developed, technology developed. It didn't stop people from just being, oh, you believe in God and that's it. No. They had overground lighting system. If you think about England at that time, people were wearing clothes like and sewages. The Lord of Bath sent his son to go to the Islamic civilization lands to learn about it. In fact, you know Charles Darwin, the one came up with the idea of evolution. He had to study Arabic language under his teacher, Samuel Lee. Because science and technology and knowledge all was that in the Islamic civilization. But now what's happened is Muslims are becoming so lazy, and that's why people don't see the power, the spirit, the contribution that Muslims have done to the society, to the world. We don't see it today. You might see it isolated cases. Many of the Muslim countries are so backwards. Do you go to a Muslim country to do your PhDs? People come here in this country, or they go to other countries, because Muslims themselves have abandoned the pursuit of knowledge and technology as it demanded by Islam. Muslims were naming the stars.
I'm not familiar with others. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if you talk about astronomy,
Okay.
geometry,
Yeah.
trigonometry, algebra, physics, astrophysics, all of this science, disciplines of science, Muslims contributed to such an extent that this is a gratitude to the Islamic civilization. The problem is, Europe had a problem with Islamic civilization, because when it came, people were becoming Muslims and leaving Christianity. It didn't like that. There was always this resistance to Islam, theological resistance, political resistance, and then ideological resistance. That is why even today in the textbook of science and history, they do not talk about the Islamic civilization for hundreds of years. In fact, if I were to tell you a medical textbook to be a doctor and a surgeon, Al-Qanun fi al-Tib, the canon of medicine by Ibn Sina, known as Avicenna, by Ibn Sina, went through 700 years as a medical textbook in Europe. Over 17 editions. Many of that is still relevant today. But this is coming from the Muslim civilization, Islamic civilization. That is the power and the level of contribution that Islam had on the world science, technology and civilization and progress. You don't see it today because Muslims have become lazy. That's the only difference. But when Islam came, it told them to go and search and go and look into how God created this universe, how God originated this universe. So not only the world benefited from Islam, if it wasn't for Islam, the world wouldn't be like this. So the Renaissance that you heard about, the scientific revolution, it only happened because of the exchange of Islamic civilization. People don't acknowledge that yet with this resistance, but the more and more people read about it, the more and more realize that it was the case. Many books on algebra or trigonometry were found. Oh no, it wasn't like this. Let me rephrase again. This discipline, say trigonometry or algebra, I can't remember which one. Two people independently come and say, this is what it is, from two different places. We know that's not possible. The only way we can explain that, they got this from somewhere else. And we know when Genghis Khan or others came and looted the libraries in Iraq and elsewhere and destroyed so many books, some of the books survived. And these books ended up in private hands, institutions and so on, and they started learning it and they say, oh, I'm coming up with all this, when this knowledge was already contributed by the Muslims.
Okay.
Yeah? So we know that because you can go now, you see, is it William Harvey or someone who's been credited for the circulation system? Or someone's credited for the father of the medicine and so on. But you can go back and see Ibn Nafis, who already described the circulatory system. People now realize how the technological advancements the Muslim had. The point I'm making is this: if you consider Islam It is not going to somehow make you backward. It is not going to take you to the old Middle Ages. Islam will enlighten you, and you will free up, and it will bring you up an alignment in your heart and your mind. And you'll realize that that is indeed the truth. Because when we want to know what the truth is, the truth must be self-evident. Self-evident. You don't have to really, dig the world to find out what the truth is about this universe, about God, about Islam. When you study the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you would know that he is the messenger of God. Your heart, your mind would say, he has to be. He has to be. A man who has been oppressed, his whole family, his whole community were almost killed, and they were left to migrate to another place. When he came back, he could have destroyed them all, right? Because of what they did to him. But what did he do? He forgave them. Who can do that? Only a person who's been trained by God to be such a compassionate individual. So when you look at the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when you look at his generosity, his kindness, his forgiveness, his teachings of tolerance, justice and fairness, you would know that this is not ordinary human being. He has been trained by the Creator to be a messenger of God. That is what, when you look at the biography of the life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when you look at the Quran and you open and read, you would know this book is not a product of a human mind. Because human minds are limited in what they say, what they know, what they do, right? We are limited. If this book was 1,400 years ago, what would you expect in this book? Errors, mistakes, discrepancies, inconsistencies. You'd expect that. Because